Alright guys, okay, I'm up. Let's go. Okay, before I do that, let's set this up real quick. Okay, looks good. Ooh. There we go. Okay, you guys, I'm back. I know I'm a little bit late today. Not quite sure what to talk about, but I was kind of rewatching this space call time and time again. I just, try to pinpoint certain things, but anyway, if you have time tonight, I'm gonna talk about it more, but mainly let's do a price update first. I know I'm trying to kill some time here while people are joining in. If not, you guys could watch it back later on. Not much here, of course. Price action went kind of berserk in the last couple hours, right? If you look at the price point here, and I mean, it's nothing new, so to speak, but let's see. I'm kind of curious about the volume. Let's look at the volume first, though, because the last few hours it kind of went up pretty high. Yeah, still 2.9 million shares being traded. Okay, so that's that. And then if you look at the chart exchange, let me see one more time here. I know some people think that it's kind of the same as any other company, but I don't know. I just feel that the number shows otherwise. So, okay, that surprised me. I thought it was, kind of like a 75, but still 70% short interest right there, or short volume. Off exchange still over 62 or over 60. Here it's like 71%. So off exchange just means that it's not in the lit market, so the price action was not being seen by the lit market. If you look at the amount of shares being shorted right there is 1.2, and then of course the amount is kind of went up over here. Short exempt or off exchange exempt, perhaps those are the amount that is being created out of thin air. I don't know. Again, I need to do a little bit more research on this one. I just feel a bit lazy at the moment. Kind of sludge about the off exchange, unless somebody on the chat or even later on, if you watch this particular live stream, and you could tell me about it. It's like I would love to learn about what is an off exchange exempt volume considered or consist of, right? Why are these number exist? But today it seems like it's spiking up again. It used to be around 20,000 shares being created there, or shorted or whatever. January 25th, right? And then now it's spiking back up again. So why? Why is that? I think due to the surge in volume. to the stock. I know it's non-existent. It's when I said a surge, it's like it doesn't even qualifies as a surge in volume, because it went from 2.2 million shares yesterday now to 2.9 million shares. So yeah, I'm trying to be careful with the term here, so I'm using the term surge loosely. Okay. Now you know what I forgot to do is hold on, give me 1 second here. I feel like there's some thing here that I'm not seeing. Give me 1 minute here. Alright, so today is Friday, yes. Okay, let me situate this real quick. Okay, so so with the price action, obviously this is one of the kind of starting point of my show. Usually I do this, but the price point right now, it's $14.73. Still at the $14. We weren't able to break the $15 mark, but hey, it is what it is. My kind of breaking level is around 54, but I bet you anything it's because of the option chain for today. So if you were to look at the option chain right here, so today max pain was 14.50. So there was some call option that's in the money, so around 3,000 call option was in the money. So it depends on whether the person have the money to execute the price or execute the shares. Market maker is going to have to deliver those shares, right? Only if they have the money to execute or exercise not execute, exercise the call option for you to but again, just because you buy the contract doesn't mean that you have the right to buy it at that price with that contract. No. You have to have the collateral to buy it at that price, in addition to the money that you paid for that contract. So that's the gist of it. Hopefully that would explain it. So if you look at next week, for example, I'm kind of curious myself too. What's the max pain? It's still at 14.50. This could change at any point in time, because there's possibly more people buying into weekly options, for example, right? So this 4,000 contract is that is being shown here could be growing up to like 10,000, right? Again, it depends on how many people are interested in those call option, right? So it seems like, I'm sure they're gonna try to keep it under $15 again next week. And yeah, we'll see. Let's see. And of course, like market makers, they want to stay neutral, and so when they bet up and down, they have the ability to sell the share into the market to bring the price up or down, right? That depends on where the max pain is. Remember, the term max pain, it's for retail, okay? The level of which to deliver the maximum pain to pain, meaning losing money, to retail investor, right? Or whoever buy the calls or put, right? So that's what it means. That's why it's called max pain. A sweet spot for a market maker to be in. Okay, so that's that. Seems like nobody's here today, but I'm just gonna continue. If not, I'm gonna end it quickly anyway. So that's no problem there. So I was watching this particular video here, so let's listen to it right there.
The banks are getting scared. They're trying to change the rules so they don't go under. And for real, the other day, New York Community Bank woke up like this. Q Bank Failures 2024. And just a couple of days ago, they tried to pass this new rule about derivatives, and the implications are super spicy. So a quick refresher, derivatives, meaning like bets in the stock market that can go completely hog wild, are what caused 2008 to collapse. It was one specific type of derivative that they were super hyped on at the time, but derivatives in general allow for banks to just go absolutely fucking apeshit with all kinds of speculation on huge amounts of leverage. So if they're wrong, if things go badly, the whole economy can collapse. And after it almost did, Obama signed this wonderful bill called Dodd-Frank that totally was going to change everything. He said, quote, "Wall Street reform, Dodd-Frank, the laws that we have passed worked." It's popular in the media and political discourse, both on the left and the right, to suggest that the crisis happened and nothing changed. That is not true. Sorry, I should be doing my Obama voice. That is not true. We are moving in the derivative sector, a huge amount of oversight. Fuck that, we don't have time for all that in his voice. Basically, the idea was all these derivatives that are just shady backdoor deals, banks betting with other banks without telling anyone else what they're betting on with huge amounts of money that is not all theirs. A lot of it doesn't even exist because they're banking on leverage. Obama promised that they were all going to come into the light and be traded on exchanges so we could regulate them and everything would be safe from here on out. And that is why, as of the most recent report, JP Morgan is holding $58 trillion worth of derivatives, closely followed by Goldman Sachs and Citibank. For a little perspective here, I took the GDP of all of the biggest countries in the world and I put them on this cute little chart scaled in trillions of dollars. And if you add up every country except the US, all these ones highlighted in red, then you get that blue bar, $55 trillion. That's all of them except the US added together. Remember, gross domestic product. Everything that those countries, all of these countries combined creates of value in an entire year. And that red bar is JP Morgan alone, how much derivatives they are currently holding open. Just for scale. But Obama told us that don't worry, it's not gonna be dangerous, they're gonna be all regulated and out in the open market and it's gonna be safe. And that is why, as of the most recent reporting last year, 96% of JP Morgan's trades are over the counter, meaning in dark markets where they are not regulated and they are not reported. Only 3% of their derivatives contracts traded on exchanges like the New York Stock Exchange. And this is for every single bank. Some of them are 100% over the counter. This is the exact opposite of what Obama told us they were gonna do with the derivatives market. And shocker, derivatives got so popular into 2008, and what happened next? Nothing. They stayed really popular. Because this is the number one way for banks and big rich financial institutions to take our money. And they've already been shown that when they fuck up, they get bailed out. And that brings us to this new regulation that they just tried to get through. And for all you dipshits out there that are always trying to be like, this is notional value, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, we know what notional value is, guys. Sit tight while we learn about this new rule, because notional value matters. I first caught wind of this just a few days ago when this Reddit user, What Can I Make Today, posted and broke this whole bill down. If you Google what you're seeing on the screen here, you can find this post. And yes, I went and corroborated what he's claiming on the official government websites. The law itself is a long document with a whole bunch of legalese that's very confusing. But basically what it's saying is, when the markets are really crazy, how about if we just let the big banks it's really crazy, let's just not margin call them. See, when the banks or anyone places derivative bets on the market, they have to have a certain amount of collateral just in case the trade goes wrong. Particularly because all of these trades are being done on margin, meaning money they don't actually have. But sometimes the market does crazy things and gets what we call volatile. And they're worried that that could threaten the stability of its members during periods of heightened volatility. Oh, by the way, its members, referring to the OCC, this is their member directory. We're talking people like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Vanguard, Virtue, Instinet, Citigroup, Bank of America, NASDAQ, you get the idea. Not you filthy peasant. And they're worried that if the market gets crazy, a sudden extreme increase in margin requirements could stress one of their members' ability to obtain liquidity to meet its obligations, particularly in periods of high volatility. I can't imagine why they would be expecting extreme volatility in the markets soon. So they're proposing changing the rules so that when the markets go crazy, all the biggest players just get a free pass on having their bets going wrong. Not you though. Marge will call you so fucking fast. They specifically refer to what happened with Gamestop as an example of why they should all not have to deal with all this market volatility and should get a free pass on having a ton of risky bets and not having enough margin to cover them. Remember how much risky betting we're talking about here. Remember that it is 96 traded over the counter, meaning unregulated and unchecked. What they are specifically concerned about is something called counterparty risk. Because all of these hundreds of trillions of dollars of derivatives, they are not all just open trades that if you get it wrong, you lose all the money. It's a bunch of hedges and balances back and forth. And when they open a position for someone in this direction, they open their own position in the other direction to cover their asses. It's all very complicated. Yes, to all the haters, we know what notional value means. Y'all need to learn what counterparty risk means, like Bill Hwang learned real quick. See, back around when GameStop happened, Bill was doing a whole bunch of kind of secret over-the-counter trading of really high derivatives with a bunch of money that he didn't exactly have. Like the exact same thing the banks are doing on those sheets I'm showing you. But the problem is once his trades kind of started to go a little wrong, and then like the GameStop thing happened and all the markets were crazy, and he just kind of lost control of like the margin in his portfolio. And his firm went bankrupt pretty damn quick. But the problem is that the counterparty to almost all of his trades was Credit Suisse. And the moment that his firm, Archegos, ceased to exist, suddenly Credit Suisse was holding all of these trades open with no one on the other side to fulfill. Meaning what were balanced, hedged positions one day, the very next day were complete YOLOs, just like balls deep into whatever directions Bill had left them on the hook for. And if you didn't know, Credit Suisse is not with us anymore, largely because of Bill and Archegos. All of these hundreds of trillions of dollars of derivative risk rely on no one going bankrupt, because if any one of these big players gets into trouble, everyone else's bets are completely fucked. And that is why they're trying to argue that they should all get a pass on margin calls, more or less, when there's times of extreme market volatility. Because, like, that's just weird random stuff that's like, like when the market doesn't play by the rules, we just, like, get a little pass until the rules are back on, right? Because, like, we're good guys. So if you want to know more, you can search out this post by searching the title on the screen. This is in Super Stonk on Reddit. Homie wrote up an awesome summary, and then he even wrote a sample comment letter that you can submit if you want to submit comments that they're not expecting, because the poors are not supposed to get involved. So if you want a key takeaway here, politicians work for the banks. The regulators work for the banks. Most of it's self-regulated anyways. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that you also work for the banks, corporate income taxes, individual income taxes, and the entire global monetary system is leveraged to the absolute hits. And we might be in the process of watching our very first bank failure of the year, but probably not our last. This new rule tells me that they're expecting lots of volatility coming up, and that's why the banks are getting...
Yep. So those new rules and all that stuff is created to protect the top, right? And the people that break rules all the time, right? And this is why they're so emboldened to do whatever they need to do in order to stop it from happening, right? Now, I'm not saying, again, GameStop's going to be a good company. Everything is fine. Like, as a company, we're going to be fine. As far as the price action, though, of course, and this is the whole reason why I watch Moran's as well. Like this particular one right here. If you haven't watched that one, I highly, highly recommend it, because it's so telling that's why, there was one guy there who, claimed to hold GameStop for 3 years already, and all he was saying, and of course, like everyone in in the space call was, kind of noticing him, was very negative about, GameStop. Oh, where's the profit? And then at the same time, not knowing that, the same narrative, right? The same exact narrative about how about people who've been buying from $300, $400 and all that stuff. I'm like, at what price are you talking about? If you're still referring to GameStop as, $500, that was an all-time high, then you haven't been here since 3 years, right? And if you have been here even 2 years and a half or whatever, you would know that GameStop has been doing a stock split, right? So that's the telling part there, when he was saying that, how about people who've been buying since, $200 or $300 or so, right? Well, let me, again, I addressed this before in my live stream already, is that, this is the all-time high right here. So if you look at the price right there, hold on, let me do a really shrinkage right here, so you could see the price right there when I mark the all-time high. Okay, so the all-time high right there, if you take a look at that, that's $220. Let's say $220. It's easier for me to say. And if you want to verify, you could do this yourself. Just draw the horizontal line to the very tippy top right there, and you would see around $120 a share right there, right? And so the fact that he's still saying, oh, how about for the people who've been buying since $300, that's telling to me, because he might not even being holding GameStop, right? Of course, me speculating, perhaps he hasn't been following GameStop up until the fact that they've been kind of do the stock split and all that stuff, which is fine. I mean, it's probably happened. He has probably have a busy life and been grinding and been kind of working to put food on the table, right? So it's possible, but it's very suspicious to me, right? And then on top of that, saying that there's no profit and all that stuff too, and it's very curious to me that is something that was talked about. But let me remind you something here, right? GameStop has been beating expectation many a times, okay, since September of 2022, sorry. So we've been beating expectation there. Didn't beat the other the next quarter, but the next quarter thereafter, we have been beating expectation, like massive amount of B2. You see, like all this percentage, like right here is 200%, right? Right here 6%, right here is 78%. Right here, 100%, beating expectation left and right, and people are still very negative about this stock, telling you don't buy into it, telling you that this is a pump and dump, this is a meme stock. Of course, that meme coin thing is coming up again, right? You have these type of thing happen to GameStop over and over again, and nobody really kind of have a red flag in the media anyway. I'm sure people who are been in this play for a long time will understand that this is an ongoing thing. And so we're like, people like me and people like most of my subscriber, I hope, are kind of numb to this type of thing. And then you have people who come in the chat to kind of debunk the whole thing, right? Or try to debunk the whole thing, saying that, oh, meme stock or meme coin surge and then crash back down 50% today or whatever, as if GameStop is that false. Like, oh, just like the meme stock, what goes up must come down type thing, right? Again, they're priming people, or at least try to take volume away from the inevitable coming next quarter, right? So for those of you who are into those meme coins, yeah, sure, if you want to look, I bought Doge before, and you could make a lot of money in that sense, but if it move to the right direction here. But again, just know that buying into those coins, you're not buying into GME as a stock, as the company, sorry. You're just buying into an empty, pump and dump, coins that is being created in the market without any repercussion, right? I think I might have made this point before, so I'm going to make it again. In Apple or whatever, so let's say there's a meme coin that is trying to capture the run of Amazon, right? It captured the run of Meta. Wouldn't you think that there is some regulator going after that, right? Or sue or try to stop it in some way? But for some reason, when it happens to GameStop, it's all a plot, or it seems like, right? Even the news piece that comes out would promote it. It's almost like promoting it to you. But anyway, so that's just my schmeal, or my soapbox. I'll get off of it for a minute there. That's all I'm going to say about that. So of course, like I've have a perspective on meme coins, and I think that's the perspective that I have based on the experience that I have with AMC as well, right? It's another form of distraction again to get people away from GameStop. And that's fine, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to chase, go ahead, chase after those rainbow. But just know that you're not getting into the only company that they don't want you to own, right? Or they don't want you to know about, that they're actually a lot better in financial position than any other meme coins out there, or any other meme stock out there that they are pushing right in front of you, right? And so in that, because they've been putting GameStop as a meme stock status for 3 whole freaking year here, this type of thing is going to weigh GameStop down. Now, again, not for long, obviously, not for long. The fundamental is going to flip the script at some point in the years or decade to come. So I'm waiting patiently. I'm just saying that, hey, just count yourself blessed to be able to, let me speak it for myself, right? I'm blessed that I'm able to buy GameStop at this price point. In my opinion, obviously, there are people who thinks that it's trash, right? There are people who are, committed to the company and think that it's going to go to the moon. But for me, the truth is somewhere in the middle. So I'm willing to just look at this company 1 quarter at a time, right? In my opinion. So let me make this comparison. I know these 2 companies are totally different company, okay? And of course, Meta has a massive amount of user here that brings the ad revenues and all that stuff to the ad. I'm not comparing to that. But keep in mind though, if you look at the market cap of Meta right now, right? And to move this stock 20% a day, that's a massive amount of capital right there. So if you look at the market cap right there, $1.2 trillion. $1.2 trillion, right? So $1.2 trillion. So it for it to go up to 20%, that means $200 billion in money flow into that company in one day. $200 billion. Okay? Now, that movement will never come to GameStop. Well, not anyway, not right now. I'm not saying ever. I'm talking about not right now. But when it comes to GameStop, at $200 billion, do you know what that percentage would be? It's not 20%, right? It's going to be a lot more. So how do you do that math? 200 divided by $4 billion. So that's the current market cap. That's 50 times, okay? 50 times your money if you're in GameStop. That's the comparison here, okay? Now, of course, most of us believe that the company is so valuable that it could, go further than 50x from here. Again, I'm talking about decades from now, not right now. Okay, so with that though, if you look at the earnings for Meta, they did a pretty good job. I'm not saying, it's a terrible earnings or anything like that. But my point is that this company is $1 trillion and or more already. And so for you to 10x your money, this company would have to be $10 trillion company. I don't know. It's hard for me to believe that. I'm not saying it's impossible, but that's only if I could 10x my money in 10 years or something like that, right? Who knows? But again, just in one day, the volume to this company, or the dollar amount anyway, was $200 billion, right? And I'm sure if $200 billion went into GameStop, you would get 50x. I just did the math for you there. Elino, thank you for joining. Michael, thank you. Flip that script, yeah. GME is better deal and in the long run. Yeah, I mean, I believe that. Okay, so let me make this comparison real quick because it's kind of telling to me. So you see how they've been beating expectation, and if you look at the price to earnings right there, that's 8%, right? 2% beat, okay? 20% beat, which is, hey, for this company of this side, of course, like it's popularity, ads revenue, and all that stuff. And then 10% recently, right here. This is what caused the 20% up in Meta price movement, right? So that's great. I'm not knocking on it or anything like that. But in terms of beating in percent, and I'm only focusing on up here because again, you know, I'm probably biased here. But again, 8%, 2%, 20%, 10%, right? 4 quarters in a row. Which company has been beating on price to earnings? 4 quarter in a row? Yes, GameStop. And I'm sure, you know, if you're in this company, you've known this. And there we go. 200%. 6%. 78%. 100%. Yet the price is still down. This is a blessing. Don't get me wrong. Like, the fact that you find it at this low price, hey, you know, count it as a blessing. So that's my comparison there. And of course, Amazon did pretty good as well. Let me see if I see the chart here. Oh, this is AMC. Sorry, it's not. I think I had SoFi too up here. Well, let's get out of Meta and go to Amazon. How's everybody doing today? Okay, I'm gonna read the chat real quick here. Okay, so even this one too went up how much? So earnings by 25%. That's, hey, for the company of this side, obviously it's a lot, right? I get it. 60%. Now my curiosity as well, though. No, and then look, 80%. Okay, 40%. So GameStop. It's GameStop. Sorry. Amazon has been beating expectation 4 quarter in a row, right there. So my suspicion, again, I feel like they are lowering expectation here. That's why it's so easy for this company to beat, and because they want to elicit that run. And again, if analysts think about it, if analysts are corrupt, right? They could do many things. Like, remember when the 2008 housing crisis happened, right? Before that, before everybody found out. There were credit agency who would keep AAAing those CDOs, right? Just stamp of approval, right? Again, and they're not doing it based on any real number whatsoever. They just do it because, hey, it's part of the club, right? If you don't AAA something, you're not going to be hired as a analyst for that big institution. And of course, like, again, it's a big club and you're not in it type thing, right? It's a really big club, but you're not in it, meaning like that. Oops, sorry about that. That if you're not part of the group, you're not going to be able to benefit. And that's a shame for the financial system because it's so important for every single person on this earth. Yeah, literally. Very important, and people don't realize that they've been screwed over by that type of thing, right? And of course, people who are unaware of what's going on, they're probably thinking that we're conspiratory minded, but it's happening right in front of us. They just, again, reinventing they just change the definition of something. They just change the way that they calculate the certain things in order to make it look worse or better than others. Case in point, of course, every single metric that they gave to GameStop it's an overestimate, right? It's an over, over, what's the term? I can't even think of the term. They gave GameStop an impossible, low bar versus high bar. Jeez, I can't even get that out. You guys, I'm so sorry about that. So what I'm trying to say is that, let me rephrase that. Anytime when you see this estimate, I bet you anything it's overinflated, right? Because they gave the impossible number, but yet GameStop still beat it. See what I mean? So case in point, right here, this fourth quarter that is the most anticipated quarter for us, right? Of course, the media won't pay attention to it. Guess what? The media hardly pay attention to this particular quarter right there, because we're so close to having a trailing 12 of positive here, right? And so that's why they only gave you a snippet of misreported number. They don't even give you sorry, my dog. They don't even give you a proper apology. I've made a video about that before. It's Yahoo Finance that does this, right? Now, this most anticipated one, I've talked about this before. Let me rephrase it again, because again, it's important for people who are new or whatever, right? This estimate right here, every single person or every single news media is out there, financial news media, is telling you that GameStop is struggling. GameStop is, good for nothing, dog shit of a company, right? They don't make money. So why are you estimating that we're making $84 million this quarter alone? I thought we're not making money. So why the estimate is so high? So why not put 0, just like SoFi? How about estimate that? If we're not making money, why is the estimate so high? So that's just my observation there. They could make anything up on the spot, and they could make it impossible for GameStop to beat the earnings. But again, Brian Cohen and the team is much smarter than these analysts out there combined, right? Brian, Susie, and whatever. All right, hi Emmanuel, thank you for joining. Michael Tucker. I shopped at GameStop today. Oh, great! Woohoo! I think we have a couple more days though until the next. Yep. Let me see. Wedbush analysis have an agenda. Yeah, of course. Like, I don't know if it's Wedbush, or I think it's every single financial institution here. And it's not just Wedbush. Anyone who have an agenda to try to crumple this company, and at least suppress it to as long as they can, to the point where they would wear people out, right? And of course, like, they underestimate people who have been loyal to the company as a shareholder, been loyal to Brian Cohen due to his own work ethic, right? And the reason why people like me gravitate towards Ryan Cohen is because of his work ethic, because of what he's been doing for GameStop, right? That's why I type in CEO who works for free, and Ryan Cohen is work for free. So yeah, I mean, no matter how big the agenda is, people are seeing this for the truth of what it is, right? It's a great company, at the very least, right? Fundamentally. Now, the other squeeze thing, I believe it's still on the table, but again, until it's over, like it's egregiously, obvious, that's when people are like, oh, okay, I was wrong, right? Of course, they're gonna try to drag it out as much as they can, as long as they can, to warn down people who are impatient that 3 years is so long for them to wait for something that is life-changing, right? To me, if you think it's trash, all right, I know a few people who could turn trash into treasure, and there's a lot of sayings out there. One man trash is another man treasure. So if you don't realize that, then you don't understand the value of GameStop. So that's what my spiel is today. Amazon is a fantastic company. Yes, of course, I'm not saying it's a terrible company at all. I'm just saying that it's too large already. It's too heavy. It's too top heavy. And so for you to double your money, this company has to make trillions of dollars, right? Or at least you need somebody to buy into the idea that GameStop, buy into the idea that Amazon is going to be a $10 trillion company, right? Well, from here, double their money, not 10 trillion, sorry. Around $3 trillion company. Is it possible? I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying to make just twice your money. That's what it needs to be in order to get to that point. Does that make sense? And now for people who are already wealthy, I bet you anything, I don't think they have Amazon anymore. I'm sure they're going to try to weed it off at some point, because they know that, some of these things are overvalued. Why? How do I say that? Well, look at this. Now, I know Amazon is a behemoth here, but it's in the retail sector here, right? Look at the price to earnings. 90? Really? Come on. Like, what? I get it. It's a massive company, but eventually something's gonna break. Might take a long time. Might take another 20 years for Amazon to be, kind of smaller cap company. But until then, though, GameStop's gonna be, top 500, right? I don't know. Again, I don't know how long it's gonna take GameStop to get to the top 500, but when it happens, well, that's when MOAS happen, I think, because again, by that time, I hope you have more shares. Well, that's what I'm hoping. You're doing fine, Bimo. Thank you. Your information is good for gamers. Okay. Slow and steady wins the race. Yes, thank you, Lionel. Appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, I have to thank Lionel for all of the, it's like he's the one that gave me the opportunity to at least change his mind about some things, right? Financial, endeavors and all that stuff. Because again, before that, I've always wanted to kind of help people, realizing, hey, there's other ways. Like if you're stuck in one place, you would be able to, you're not trapped, right? So there's always best solution to do something. So I really appreciate that, he has been the one that listened and kind of implement, a lot of things that I was telling him. And now he's well-to-do. He's doing fine. He has a lot on his plate. So I just want to publicly thank you for that, Rhino. So, all right. So, Michael, true. Thank you. Yep. Buying and holding. Yep. So again, Amazon, I'm not knocking it. Of course, they beat earnings, but again, my thing is, I think that those expectation is low. It's so low so that they could elicit this type of, oh, surprise, 60%. Look, you better buy into it, right? We expect, the Amazon to be at this price. Really. Now, if you look at the balance sheets, though, there's some things that I'm kind of like scratching my head a little bit here. So for those of you who thinks Amazon is the best company, this is why I don't think it is. Okay, so I'm going to present you a number here that makes me feel that way. So I'm all about like, okay. You see this net cash right here? Look at it. So the net cash position is that, right? Is in the negative of $72 billion. $72 billion in the negative. Now, what they have going for them is the fact that they have a retaining earnings right there, right? That's what GameStop is trying to achieve, right? To get a positive returning earnings, or retained earnings. Sorry. So that means like of all the lifetime of the company, GameStop. I keep saying GameStop. Yes, eventually we're gonna get to that point. Sorry, you guys. Amazon only been making $100 billion over the lifetime of this company, right? So you're telling me $100 billion warrant a 1 point something trillion dollars company? Again, the market is overpricing, and again, people will keep buying until they couldn't buy it anymore. So $1.7 trillion company, and that is telling to me, that's why I'm scared about this company. I know it's not gonna go under anytime soon. I'm not saying that, but it's on its way out, right? Slowly but surely, steady downhill from here, right? It might go up to 2 trillion at some point, but again, that from then to there is only what 10 more percent or 20 more percent, and so unless they start cutting jobs like crazy or producing technology too. Okay, so if you look at the trailing 12 net income, there you go. All right. $20 billion net income. All right, that's pretty steep right there. So perhaps, hey, people are spending money, right? So, but what kind of money are they spending? Are they spending their own earned income, or they're spending on a credit card? So that's important too. So if they go on debt, I've heard about like doom spending. So I don't know if you've heard of that one, meaning that people don't have the money, but they feel like they have to buy it anyway, because that's how we've been bred in this society, that we have to go on debt, credit card, and we're not saving for the future, right? And again, some people are not able to do that due to their circumstances, right? I just been lucky because I a natural saver for myself, that naturally, because I'm coming from a poor country here, so I somehow have the ability to kind of live on less, and so whatever comes in, I usually save. And this is even before I was into the financial system too, like how the concept of paying yourself first. So I did that even before knowing that concept. So I'm fortunate in that sense, and also too, I'm fortunate that I get the privilege to stay at home with my parents and able to save as much as I can because of that. So I'm not saying that I don't have that privilege. So some people don't have that privilege because they need the money to survive, right? Rent, car payment, and all that stuff. And so my heart goes out to them. And again, this is why it's important to kind of dispel the notion that if your struggle, it's because of you, and only you, right? Of course, the economy play a big factor in that, and how you being kind of, I guess, like the media, the movies that you watch, right? You get influenced by those people, and so you become brainwashed to think that, oh, you need this, you need, you need this manicure, pedicure, and to do your hair every single month, in order to look normal or whatever, right? All of those stuff, kind of societal expectation for you to be a normal human being, right? And so, of course, you have to become aware of that, and then you're like, okay, I don't need to do this and that. I don't need to, eat 3 meals a day if I don't have to. I don't advocate that, but and this is the lucky thing too, that I get to work in the dietary department, so I got free food, so to speak. I kind of nibble on the cooks, and of course it's part of the job, because you have to taste your food and all that stuff, and kind of make it so that there's no contamination, right? We always joke about saying, oh, we're just sampling the food so that there's no contamination. All right, sorry, I'm kind of babbling around. Okay, hi Lynn, what's up? S&P 500, that's going to be saucy. Yeah, I know. From now until then, it might be a treacherous road for GameStop, but I think it's a doable one. Just like Rance is saying about that Spaces call. So I've been listening to that Spaces call, 5 times, and I was just amazed at how he was able to kind of put those together. All right, saying hi to Amber right there. Thank you. Keep the pedicure and buy another share of GameStop instead. Yes, do your own nails, right? You could learn if you don't know how to. It's pretty simple, you guys. Let's see. Okay, so what am I saying about this scary thing? Okay, so that's pretty substantial right there, that jump, right? Yeah, perhaps people are just shopping at Amazon for some reason. Yeah, I didn't look at the earnings in detail though. 1 second though. But what is this? Oh, okay, 2022. They hardly make anything. In fact, they were down $2 billion there. Of course, it's a strong buy, right? At this price point, it's a strong buy. You guys go jump on it. I don't know. Again, to me, it's overblown already. Okay, let me share. Look at this. Really? Do you think? Come on, 90 EPA. Okay, so with Meta, of course, the same schmeal. But compared to Amazon, Meta is actually a lot cheaper. It's hard to compare the two company because again they do different things. Meta is more like advertising and all that stuff and manipulating people. Remember when, what is it, Social Dilemma? There was a documentary about how Facebook would intentionally rigged, they would know everything about you, right? To the point where how much are you using their app and what your eyeball are doing on those pages. Yeah, it's that crazy. Meaning that if you look at the bottom screen, they know that difference too. How long are you, paying attention to the bottom screen? It's crazy. And so the technology allows them to do that. And so that's why they have the ability to highly targeting those ads to you. So anytime you talk about anything, it's been like that for decades already. So it's crazy. So yeah, I'm sure this is why they're so valuable, and of course there's a connection between, government and whatever. So that's another connection too. So again, depends on who control this particular platform. I'm sure it's bipartisan here, okay? It's only doing that to control the masses, so to speak. So, hey, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just saying this is happening, okay? Silently, of course. Like, people think that it's a tinfoil hat. Not really. There's a documentary. There are people who've been working with Facebook and really had that concern too, because people who work there, they just work there because they love doing what they're doing, right? And they keep building most efficient things and all that stuff, but then over time the money is like, hey, yeah, it's a great money, but I think this is a moral imperative to let people know what's happening with Facebook, right? That maybe you might not want to even touch it, right? But again, hey, if you have Facebook Meta stock, congratulations though, Alright, so that's that. Okay, so my original kind of point was this. Let me go to this one right here. Now, I'm sure you know this person, Frankie Muhammad. I've been, following him quite a bit. For some reason, why I'm not subscribed, I don't know why. I mean, he has good information. Look, sometimes, I'm thinking like, of course, he's kind of like pumping AMC towards AMC more than GME. But of course, like, he was the one that's kind of go against Adam and Aaron this and Adam Aaron that. And I'm sure he sold out his position already. I don't know at what point you could follow him if you want to. But this particular video here, I'm not going to play the sound because I want you to kind of check it out for yourself if you want to anyway. So he's saying that, the CEOs are cowards and all that stuff for all of these short squeeze play, right? And of course, I think that has a negative connotation to that because GameStop is in that basket as well. I'm not saying that that's how I feel here. I'm saying that that's what the media is painting this to be. And my concern about this particular video is that he also think it's about GameStop as well, because he didn't mention GameStop at all, right? Again, I don't know whether he has a position in GameStop or not, but from what I know about his channel is that he's always promoting AMC, or at least mostly AMC leaning, right? And so this is concerning to me because he said that one, the CEO are cowards, right? And I actually make a comment down in his video there. I'm like, hey, GameStop is the only real one all along. Ryan Cohen is working for free. Any other than that, I was going to say anything, or any stock or something like that, but anything other than that are scam and a psychological operative or whatever. That's what I meant to say. I couldn't write it fast enough, but and so that's truly how I feel. And of course, like, Marantz has been right this whole time. It's been 3 years shouting through the wind, and people didn't listen because it was that. And of course, there's a lot of people who lose a lot of money going into every other place but GameStop. And this is where they have the term GME elitists in people, like, say, you think everything is about GameStop. It's not just about GameStop. Look, all of this company are shorted. Look at the short interest. Look at the da-da-da, right? But you know what other company don't have? They don't have Ryan Cohen, right? And not just any Ryan Cohen. It's the idea that the CEO is actually aligned with the shareholder, right? Case in point, AMC. Like, if you don't see what AMC is at this point, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what else I could say to kind of sway you out of that, right? I'm so thankful that I'm kind of come to the light here and able to kind of like see that for myself. That this is why also too I make this video, is because I hope that one person could be sway otherwise here. And so with this video too, though, he paintbrush everybody into it. And again, he didn't mention GameStop, so I'm not saying that he is saying that, but the fact that he didn't mention GameStop, that's why I'm like, maybe he should. Because, Ryan Cohen has been doing the right thing all along, but yet people talk about how Adam Aaron is a silverback. Adam Aaron is this. Adam Aaron is the man. Adam Aaron has been doing this to help retail or whatever, despite every single action that opposed to that view, right? To the point where he was boasting himself that he was the one who actually saved AMC. No, he was, he didn't, right? And people know it, but yet somehow people are misled into that. And until these days too, AMC Bigham is still pumping this, right? Saying, oh, it's Evergrand. Now Evergrand is filing for bankruptcy and all that stuff. But my thought is like, well, none of that has anything to do with AMC, because even if there is a run, it's because they want it to run, right? To trap more people in and then dump it again, so that they could, put out all of the negative articles again associating with GameStop, right? And all the while, Ryan Cohen just quietly working his ass off, right, in order to build this legacy that is GameStop, right? And so I just want to kind of counter that, when I hear that, I'm like, hey, there's a CEO out here that is actually doing the right thing, and don't call all of the CEOs are cowards here. No. Ryan Cohen has been doing the right thing. Again, like, what good do you get to, go to this legal, like, think about the Overstock CEO. What did Overstock CEO went through, to get his stock even legitimized in some way? So I don't remember Patrick Byrne or something, that's the CEO. RC is working for free. Yes, of course. Like, it's a no-brainer to me. Like, this is the point of sale for me, and that's why, like, all I this is before he even was a CEO, right? All I had to do was just watching objectively the interview on Chewy, and you see, the character of a man here, Ryan Cohen, who, at the very least, somebody you shouldn't be ignoring, right? And my other point too, I think, people think that, oh, Wall Street's not gonna care, it's a shitty company and all that stuff. Nah, they're not gonna sit on the sideline while Ryan Cohen has been demonstrating that he is a valuable one, right? If you could find a CEO that don't take any, pay, and his intention is aligned to put shareholder, you wouldn't want to hold that share. Eventually, you're going to want that share, because you have a CEO who works hard for you, right? And all you have to do is just hold the freaking share, right? How hard is it to hold a share for 3 years? Really? You don't hardly do any work. Yes, you did the work to get the money to buy the share. Yes, that's fine. But you do it slowly, methodically, and, patiently. You don't have to go all in one thing, right? And so that's how investing works. That's how Warren Buffett gets to be Warren Buffett, because, and, but it becomes, well, hold on. When did Warren Buffett become a millionaire? I think it was like when he was 40 years old or something. But a millionaire back then, $1 million back then, was a lot when he was younger. When he was 40 years old, he got $1 million. So that was what, 80 years ago, right? 80 years ago. Oh my God, am I not doing the math right? 40 years ago, I think. Hold on. How old is Warren Buffett? I think he's 90 something, right? So 50 years ago. Yeah, 50 years ago, he had $1 million in the bank. Now he has like hundreds of billions of dollars, right? And that's due to his patience in investing and looking at the numbers, do the right thing, or find the company that does the right thing. And and I'm sure Ryan Cohen's going to do the exact same thing, and much better, because he's much more savvy in that, in my opinion, of course. Like, you could think that he is the failure of the world here, right? You have that opinion of him. The fact that he, that Chewy was never profitable, you could say that. But the fact that it was sold for $3 billion, that means a lot, I mean, either somebody is stupid enough to pay him, $3 billion for a company that is unprofitable, or he had built something that is worth that, right? And more, even. Like, during an IPO, it was $14 billion at the time. But the reason why it's 14 is because, they overpriced it so that they could be sure to make money on retail. So, just so you know, that's why. Yep. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir today, so there's no resistance here. I'm kind of bored a little bit because there's no resistance. But yeah, it's just my thought here today, and feeling kind of. I think that's all I have, you guys. So, okay, let's talk about SoFi real quick though, before I let you go. Okay, hold on. Yeah. So, of course, SoFi has been on the map since the earnings, right? To me, they want this to happen, right? That's why the expectation was kind of low, right? Like, again. And so, yeah, they want this to happen, and so they pump it up. And then there's a lot of YouTubers out there, it's gonna pass $10, it's gonna be, 20x from here, and all that stuff, right? Not saying it's a terrible earnings report here, at least they're turning a profit, but again, there are some, I guess if you look at it, let's take a look at it real quick. I showed you already, I feel like, if you watch my channel before. Let me see. Okay, let's see. Forward EPA 132, that's massive. Hold on, you guys. So price to book ratio, it's 1.4. That's pretty good. Gamestop is like 3 point something now. It used to be 4. Okay, so now at least they are, in the positive, but normally we want this number to be 3. Anything above 3 is like safe, but the fact that it's not negative, that's good, right? And then also too, look at this, they still lose money on, profit per employee. So they need to cut back or make more money, even more than now, to cover that stuff, right? What else? So net income, it's still $300 million loss there. Operating income, gross profit. So here's another curious thing too. It's like, so they make 2.1 $2.15 billion revenue. But look at the growth. So they make 100% gross profit? Like 100% gross profit? That's insanity. Now, that's good, but look at this. Why is it in the negative still? So that's, to me, is a sign of trouble, right? Again, I'm not qualified enough to, evaluate a banking company here, but there's something's wrong here. To where, how can you exceed, I don't know how that number makes sense at all. Right? Because, okay, let's look at. Yeah, it's like revenues in and they just keep it like that. Like, keep all of it. All of the revenue. There's no cost of anything. Or cost of good. Oh, shoot. Duh. Okay, there's no cost of good. Okay, now it makes sense. So because it's a financial institution, I guess, like every revenue they could just get to keep there. There's no goods and service being sold, so to speak. I don't know. It seems like that's the theme in this. Okay. I feel stupid now. Okay, so I think the cost associated with it is because it takes them more. It costs them more to bring those services to. Okay, hold on. Like all of this, right? So sale and marketing. Okay, now it makes sense to me now. Okay. So it's not like Gamestop, right? Gamestop has a cost of revenue. There you go. There's no cost of revenue because whatever revenue comes in, I guess, it just get off the balance because of the deposits and all that stuff. That makes sense now. And then to marketing people, like that could be the reward programs that they have, those point system that they have, right? Research and development, of course, they have their own plat thing, right? It's like some sort of technology thing that they have. So that costs money. Other operating expenses, not quite sure what those are before, but they kind of eliminated that already. Okay. Sure. So currently, I think because of the operating income going down, what is the operating income going? Revenue minus cost of and operating expenses. So all of these expenses are too high. Right, so all of this add up to more than $2.1 billion. Okay, that makes sense now. So that's why it's 13% in the negative, because they need to lower these expenses somehow by $100 million more, right? And so it seems like too, if you look at the increase from quarter to quarter, even a year ago, they increased by $1 billion operating costs right there. But also too, they've increased in revenue just by $500 million more year on year, right? So yeah, either they have to make more money. Interest expenses versus interest income, that's pretty good. Interest income coming in for the company. But all in all, too, they still come out even more, right, in the net loss because of, the rest of it. Yeah. So they have to grow a lot more than that, which is fine. Yeah, again, like it might take maybe 2 more years, then SoFi is going to be like, okay, it's a good, clean slate. But GameStop, 1 more quarter and we'll be fine. So that's why, again, like I'm skeptical when CNBC push it out about a month or 2 ago, right? I went through this already, so that's why I'm following SoFi. I know I'm putting a lot of people to sleep here, but alright, so it's 9:30 at the moment. Since there's no opposition view, I'm just preaching to the choir here, so I appreciate you coming in. Alright, I guess I'll end it here. See you when I see you. Bye.